Well, hello, everybody. Good morning again. Hey, Francisco, thanks for coming in today. Appreciate you coming in talking about the market. We were talking before, I think yesterday and today about what's going on, and I thought it'd be a good live to do. So thanks for coming in.
No, definitely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. And then before we leave, there's a bucket of questions over there. I need you to pull one out and ask me that question, and I have some over here to ask you. All right. We do that. It's like the new thing I'm doing.
Awesome.
And then they cut that up and put that on YouTube. So that way we're at question and answers.
Cool.
All right. All right. So let's get into, because people got stuff to do, I'm sure, not just watch us constantly. Let's get into the part where let's talk about what's going on kind of in the market. A lot of people think that the market's slowing down. I had someone say today, it's like, I don't know if the market's really slowing down, but we still have limited inventory, but we have people afraid that we're going to hit a bubble. We keep telling them there's not a bubble, but they don't believe us. And you got gas prices going up. You got other stuff going up that's affecting people. You kind of feeling the same thing out there?
No, definitely. It's I think it's just a lot of panic, right? Mm-hmm. Just a lot of panic that's been being created because of what's being said and broadcast out on the media and stuff too, right? Mm-hmm. But realistically, I mean,
nice shirt, by the way.
Thank you. But yeah, no, I think it actually, it definitely, the way that everything's been going, it's scaring everybody. But if you actually look at the numbers, comparing them, year to date from like right now to where we were at last year, it's pretty interesting. I mean,
all right, you want me to pull them in?
Yeah. If you could bring those up, we could actually see.
Hold on. I guess we want both of us on here.
Yeah. So, right here, I mean.
All right, so this is San Joaquin and Stanislaus County. So we're going to talk in our area, and I'm going to roll it up. So tell me where you want me to point at. All right.
Yeah. So right here, we actually look, and if you're looking at around April of 2021, kind of where we were at, just a month ago. But this is April 2021 of last year.
Right.
And I mean, looking at the for sales and the solds, we were actually seeing quite a bit of homes being sold. I mean, close to 1,000 and everything. And as of right now, I mean, it's still relatively the same. The number of homes for sale, it's jumped up. Actually, if you look at it, there's
so this is February. Do you want me to go to current, or do you want me to stay?
Yeah, go ahead. Go to the current, and now you can see where we're at, like right here on in April 2022. It's gone down like a little bit.
Right. But there's less houses on the market. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. If you do see that, I mean, there's less up for sale. The pending number, I mean, it's still relatively the same, but still going lower. I mean, we're kind of starting to see a bit of that inventory fall off, but it's still relatively the same. So that whole
I'm gonna go back a little bit. Yeah. All right. So we had 1,040, right? Or this is April. Where is April? So we had 900 or 590. Sorry, I can't count. I'm looking over here, not on the screen because it's too small on the screen over here. And then we sold 1,068. So it looks like a lot of houses didn't even hit the inventory part right back then.
Right.
Okay. And then now if we go back to current, I'm going to jump over here and we're going to go back to April. We have 794 homes for sale. So we have a little bit more inventory for sale, and we sold 900. And that's pending, right?
Yeah. Those are all pending. So the pending number is actually, if you do look at it, I mean, it's still higher. Relatively the same. Yeah. The other one, actually, if you look from back in the time of last year, it was actually a little bit higher.
Yeah, wow, look at that. Well, we're here. So but look at the curve. See this curve? This is what happens right as we go into May.
Exactly.
Right? So we don't have May numbers yet. So when we get May numbers, we can watch this curve go down and then it shoots up again. So what happens in here? I gotta pay my tax bill.
Yeah, then you got the kids going out of school and everything, and
you got spring break.
Right.
So if you look at that. All right, so we got that same nice. See, this curve was in the other one too, going up here and then here. So let's see what May comes, and if May goes up, which is what I've seen, you're gonna go, okay, well, there's not a slowdown,
right? Yeah, no, and I mean, if you look, if you actually go down a bit too, could you go to the fourth page, right all the way at the bottom, where this right here is showing the months of inventory. And if you actually look right now, it was weird. Around March time, we only had 0.7 of a month's worth of inventory,
and in April we went up to 0.9.
Right. And if you actually look back into last year,
all right, let me go there. You want at the bottom too?
The bottom one as well.
All right.
So we were actually lower, 0.6 of a month's worth of inventory back in April.
Right, and we actually went to 0.7 in May. So if you go back, so So I don't know. It's pretty close. I
It's
mean,
it's
we're
pretty
still
close.
under a month. Come on.
Right. But so here's the big one. If you go to page 3, right, and you look at the current, so this is the average for sales and solds, right?
Right.
So average for sale, it's actually pretty high right now. Looking at those the 747, but looking at the actual solds, I mean our averages were at around that 590, right?
Let me go to last year. Let me get that was page 3, right?
Yeah.
So we're right there. We're at the same numbers.
Exactly. So it's gone up by,
So basically we're saying stop being worried.
pretty much, it's definitely, I mean, and like we were talking about it yesterday, the whole idea of this bubble bursting,
Or mentality that there's a bubble, that there isn't a bubble. Right?
Yeah, it's I mean, it goes down to the basics at the end of the day, where you always gotta, I mean, I try the best that I can to coach everybody and let them know, right, where at the end of the day, I mean, yes, take all this stuff with a grain of salt, but to let it full on predict and guide, your current situation. um I always say with everybody, you got to really take it in for yourself and find out, do you want a house? Do you need a house? This stuff, it's relative in its sense, but realistically, I mean, relativity really matters to the individual, I believe.
Well, also you're not in so if you're in a house, the question, are you paying your mortgage or somebody else's mortgage?
Right.
That's the real question. All right. And so anything else you want to add here? Because it looks to me like, looking back, we're kind of the same trend as last year.
Right. Yeah, I would say.
Okay. Remember, these numbers are hindsight, right? They're behind us. We don't know what's happening today, but I can tell you what happened in March with house prices, with values that went up. All right. So I'm going to go with the Case-Shiller, who was out yesterday. Can you see that? Okay. Yep. We can see it. So it says that month over month. Okay, where's my mouse at there? We're up 2.6%. Previously, we were up 1.7 last year at this time, right? Mm-hmm. Annually, we're up 20.6% nationwide, right? So if you look at, I got to go my mouse all the way across my screen. Sorry. So this is what they're saying. So that Gold Standard for Appreciation showed home prices rose 2.6% in March, and that's 20.6% year over year nationwide. California never does anything nationwide, right? We're always more than that. But what I want you to look at is, you look at, let me get over here. Seattle, Tampa. I mean, monthly Seattle is 0.56, right? Denver 4.5, San Francisco 4.3. This is monthly, not annually, right? So you look at Tampa 3.4.8, Phoenix 34.8. Hello, been on the radio a little too long today. 32.4% up in Phoenix, Miami. These are numbers that are just crazy. So if you look at the hottest markets right now, you're talking Tampa, Phoenix, Miami. That's just crazy numbers that they're going up. We got to get to a point where we can't sustain these. So we kind of want to see a slow down to where we have maybe 2 months of inventory that would actually make a big difference. That allows people to write an offer, get it accepted, right? And not have all the competition. The last thing I want to point, and then we go with discussion, is the FHA showing by region where everything else. So Pacific, that's where we are, right? We're up 1.4% annually. I'm sorry, monthly, and then 19.7 annually. And that's the whole California. It doesn't even count certain areas. I guarantee if you look at the number for Modesto, we're up higher than that. So this just shows you mountain, west, whatever. But you look at South Atlantic, they're up 22%. You got New England up 16.9 year over year. Are you following me here? Yeah. So everything's up. So until we start seeing things going down value-wise, that's when you have a bubble. We're not going to see a bubble.
Yeah. And I think, touching onto that too, kind of how we see, and we see those trends as well, where they go, from May and then goes down and up.
Right.
We definitely right now too, kind of how we were talking about, this big panic that's going around and everyone's kind of discouraged. I mean, even from what I've been seeing out here, out in the field, actually going out there, and showing the houses, seeing the houses, and just kind of seeing the way that the market's being. I mean, we're actually seeing, some homes even tend to sit for a bit longer. So that's why, I've been really preaching to everybody, take advantage of this time where you don't have so much competition.
Yeah. Because you're going to wish you did.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, and that's where I always tell everybody, you have some people who at this moment are qualified and doing well, and they can purchase, but they're thinking of the future, and they're thinking, okay, well, I don't want to buy right now, and then a few months down the road, something happens with the market and we're down. That's where you kind of just have to.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
We had 3.5 million homes on the market in 2008. That's when the whole bubble burst, right? We have 800, 900,000 homes nationwide on the market, right? So we're not even there. So we have, even if we were at month supply right now, which we're not, that 3.7 million is like over 12 months supply.
Yeah. And that's where, and again, I mean, when we always think of when those moments come, it's like I always tell everybody, I mean, who's really waiting for those moments too is, it's everyone who's got a lot of cash, right? So at that point, you're also competing with cash buyers. So right now, I think it's definitely a great time. And we were even talking about also for a lot of the people that were discouraged to sell and buy, because I mean, there was that common fear too, where, if you sell your house, you're going to end up on the street, right? Because you have nowhere to go.
And nobody wants you to do a contingent offer. Well, they'll take a contingent offer now.
Oh yeah. Right. No. And I mean, even then when it was really tough, I mean, it was still possible, but right now it's just even more possible, and even just a lot more feasible. And right. You still have people who are willing to let you stay in your house for a few months up until you do get into something,
because they couldn't find anything in there. Now I want to go back to the bubble we've been talking about, right? So Fannie Mae put out this statement the other day that basically there's like, the way the numbers are working right now, we have 200,000. So I ran some numbers before. We had 1.4 million household formations that happened, right? And there was 1.7 million housing created. There was 300,000. We lose 100,000, and that left 200,000 homes left. That was what I was trying to get at before, right? I've said this many times, but the most important thing, if we only have 200,000 units a year to go towards our shortage, Freddie Mac says it's going to take 19 years to get caught up.
Yeah.
There, boom, Mike, we're out of here. There's no bubble.
Yeah.
Can't be a bubble if you need 19 years to get caught up.
Yeah, and it is.
And even if we were a million short, that's 5 years. Where's that bubble coming?
Yeah, and I mean, and we look at
and watch next week's bubble. I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, right, and and that's the funny thing is too, right? Is I mean, realistically, to be able to predict it, I mean, it's like you need a crystal ball, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I mean, again, at the end of the day, if you get into a house, I mean, that's where one of the biggest things, like I've been saying too, that's certain, is that rents are going to keep going up, and that's one thing that's always going to be variable. And why not get into a house payment that isn't variable, for 30 years, and what you're going to be paying per month.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter if, say, the market fluctuated a little bit and we did go down a little bit in 20,000 or 40,000. Not that that's going to happen. I'm saying you're going to be in your house at least 10 years. Over that 10-year period, your house is going to go back to appreciation. Because, if there's this, because the one thing that's, I think, is a lot of people having issues with is the gas prices are so high. It's so expensive to fill up your tank. It's getting worse. People are getting nervous about what's going on there with the election and everything else. I know people don't say they are, but it's out there. It's as this dollar keeps going up for gas and it keeps getting more expensive, people have less to spend. Well, wouldn't you want to protect yourself and know what your payment's going to be for forever?
Right. And that's the big thing that I do always say too, right? When I'm speaking with my clients, it's like I say, I mean, go to a lender, find out, right? And, hear it yourself with your numbers, with your credit score and everything. And if you look at that payment, that monthly payment, and it's feasible and it's something you can do, I always tell people, make that common joke, right? Of, maybe you got to do a little bit of lifestyle changes to, be able to be there, but it's worth it. It's always worth it. And, I always tell everyone, especially, for, my younger clients as well. I mean, the sooner you get out there, and
what are they, 16-year-olds?
No, I mean, like,
I'm just messing with you. You're young.
Yeah,
you're 22, killing it out there in the real estate helping people buy homes. And so when you say younger clients, I have to joke about it.
Yeah, no, and
they can't even buy beer,
right? I mean, and it's crazy. I mean, it's awesome too when I do. I mean, I remember, it's funny. I actually got in contact one time with one of my. I went to high school with this guy, and he's actually a year younger than me, and I mean, he was qualifying for almost like 600,000, and I'm like, man, that's awesome. But when he's out there, and he's looking, I mean, it's admirable, right? And
yeah, if you can buy a house at 18, go do it, man.
yeah, and it's one of those things where I tell everyone, once again, I mean, and we go and jump into the whole fact of just buying into something and holding on to it. I mean, it's value. And I always tell everybody, treat your house too as a piggy bank, right?
Yep.
You're going to be able to pull out from it, use it
But
for
don't
further
go
investment.
crazy on it. You want to make sure you pay it down.
Right. And
long term, you want to have this thing paid off before you turn 40.
Exactly. And and that's the goal.
Kidding.
No, and the goal too is just to be building up that that inventory that you have for yourself,
right,
and
passive income.
Exactly.
Yeah. So buy the first houses as a duplex, triplex, or fourplex, and then go buy that other house when you get married and other stuff. But your first house, let's get you into an investment for 3.5% down FHA.
Right. Yeah, I know. And we make it all super easy. And
yep, we do.
I mean, as far as too, or like we say with the way that the market is currently right now too, I mean, I've even been seeing people, I've actually been helping people get into houses too, and getting them closing costs as well right now,
right,
which
that's
is big,
huge, because for 2 years you couldn't.
Yeah. No, it was really difficult, and those closing costs, a lot of the people that also are discouraged due to the fact of maybe they're just shy a little bit, right? That can make it possible for them,
or they've been beat out over the last year. I had a client who for a year and a half been trying to buy in the Bay, couldn't. They stayed in it, and they're closed today.
Yeah. No, you see, and
all right, so we don't want to keep going because it's been 16 minutes. So I want to do a question. So I have a question for you first, then you can grab one out of there for me. All right, how do you sell and buy a house at the same time?
Sell and buy well, there's actually, and I always go about it. I mean, there's multiple ways to really do it.
Just give me one.
Okay, so the first one, I mean, the one that's the most the base and safest is going contingent on the market, upon finding and not just finding, but successfully finding and closing, on your replacement.
So contingent means that you write an offer and you say it's contingent on you selling the other house, and they give you so much time to actually get your house into escrow, right? And under contract to give you like 30 days or so many days.
Yeah, you typically, I mean, standards like 17 days. And then, from there, realistically, I mean, you kind of, you're trying to close it concurrently, pretty much, save time from everybody.
Right. And so that's one way. And the other way is you put your house on the market first, get an offer, and have it under contract while you're shopping, right?
Right. You could do that. And then, I mean, the risky one that a lot of people were actually doing, right? Where, like we said, right, where they were
sell it and rent it.
Exactly.
Live in a trailer for a year and a half. Yeah. People got really discouraged. So
yeah. But it's possible. I mean, and it's it's a lot. I think it's a lot of people get discouraged, but it's very doable. But
all right. So if you have that question, you want to do it, reach out to Francisco.
And then right here too do
you have a question there now for me?
Got a question for you.
All right.
Yeah, special for you right here. So
I hope it's an easy one.
Yeah. RVA loan rates fixed.
They're fixed. So the question is, are they fixed rates? I assume that's what that means, right? Yes, there are fixed rates for VA. That's a Veterans Administration loan, but you also can get an adjustable if you want it. I don't recommend it, especially still in this market. It's so much better to still get a fixed rate for the period of time that you have for 30 years or 15 years. So yes, VA loan rates are fixed,
right?
For most part.
Yeah. No.
And even if you can't get adjustable, I would recommend you stay with the fixed, even because some people want to do a 5-1, or which they usually it's more than that, or they used to call them 5-1. They call them now 5-6s, 7-6s, and 10-6s. Basically, it's fixed for 10 years or 7 years or 5 years, and then it turns into an adjustable that adjusts every 6 months. A lot of people did that because they planned on only being in their house for 5 years or 7, that type of period. I still recommend a 30-year fixed rate, just because I saw so many people lose their homes from 2006 on because they had an adjustable or some funky loan and rates went down. I mean, values went down. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but let's just get you in your house and get it safe so you know what your payment is and you can move forward. We'll refinance you to the lower rates once they come.
Right. And right now, like we said, right, take advantage of the current market. As a VA buyer, I mean, we could probably even try to get you in with
closing costs and no money down, and get your deposit back.
Right. I know. That was always, one of those things too, where
I had a client who I got my deposit back. What was that? Yeah, because I had all your closing cost paid. You don't have to. It's 100% financing, meaning you don't have to finance. And if you get closing costs from the seller, you don't have to bring anything in.
Yeah. No, and that's the beauty of it. And I mean, at the end of the day too, working with us, I mean, you know, we really are here to help you guys, and it's one of those things too where, I mean, me as well, helping out. I mean, and you know, even with that, I mean, we recently helped out a couple, and they actually,
and that was during a
did-
hard time to buy with a VA loan. So I was surprised. I was like, how'd you get these guys in? Because everybody else was like, oh, can't do it.
Yeah,
Right?
I know.
Can't do it.
And you know, and again, I mean, it's just even with the idea of being able to go in with and like you said, you know, even getting money back. I mean, that was unheard of for like you said, two years or so.
Yeah, and it's not that they got more money than they put down. They just got back what they put for their earnest money deposit back. That's all they can get back. Can't get more than that.
Yeah.
Right, so, all right, Francisco, anything else before we go?
No, I mean,
I'm sure people got to get back to work.
Right. Get them going.
All right, so reach out to Francisco if you don't know how to get. What's your phone number, Francisco?
My phone number, you could reach me at 209-493-2400. 209-493-2400.
Thanks. And the reason I put that there or had him put it there is because he's not anti-social media, but he has no account, so we got to get him on social media, everybody.
Yeah.
And you know how to get a hold of me. You can DM me here or any of my places. I'm Ed Parcaut. All right, everybody have a great day, and we'll see you next Wednesday. All right.